Shalom. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ha-Rakah-Kodash. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And also want to acknowledge all the brothers out there in Babylon preaching this truth with sincerity. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start off in Matthew chapter 11, verse 1. This is Shabai of GMS Denver going in on Matthew 11 and 1. It says, "And it came to pass, when Yahushua had made an end of commanding his 12 disciples, he departed thence to teach and to preach in their cities." And you notice it says cities because Yahushua was not stagnant. He moved around from city to city, all right, preaching this word. And, that's why we do that. GMS Denver has we've been teaching in Denver. We've been teaching in Castle Rock. We've been teaching in Inglewood, North Glen, also in the Springs, all right? So we move around through the Spirit teaching this truth, all right? Just like Yahushua did. Go to a quick precept, Matthew 9:35. It says, "And Yahushua went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every sickness, every disease among the people." All right, so just like Yahushua did, we move around, okay? And sometimes we are received, sometimes we're not received. Most of the time we're not. But it's all through the Spirit. Matthew 11 and 2. "Now when John had heard in the prison the works of Yahushua, he sent 2 of his disciples." All right, so not only did Yahushua have disciples, which means students of discipline, so did John. John had, students of discipline, disciples, all right? And what's the discipline? The discipline is this truth, okay? It says, actually, let me go to another precept. Matthew 4 and 12. It says, "Now when Yahushua had heard that John was cast into prison, he departed into Galilee." All right? Just showing you that Yahushua, when he knew that John was in prison, he went to Galilee. All right? And then we're going to go to Matthew 4. Matthew 14 and 3 says, "For Herod had laid hold on John and bound him and put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife." And then we know that she also became the wife of Herod, okay? Showing you how dirty these Edomites were, And Herod, he was a terror. So his father was an Edomite and his mother was an Israelite. And he took on his own brother's wife while his brother was still alive. And that's why she wanted John to be executed, via she wanted his head decapitated. And that's why they put his head on a platter, because at the request of Herodias. All right, so just going into John being in prison, because we had scoffers saying that John wasn't in the truth, but indeed we know he was in the truth. That's why he was persecuted, and that's why Yahushua is speaking highly of him in the chapter we're reading. All right, I'm going to go back to Matthew 11 and go verse 3. "And said unto him, Art thou he that should come, or do we look for another?" Let's go to the precept. Going into John 11:27. It says, She saith unto him, Yea, Lord, I believe that thou art Yahushua, the son of Yahweh, which should come into the world. All right, because the people were asking, hey, are you the one? Are you the Messiah? You know? Let's go back to Matthew 11. We're at verse 4. Yahushua answered and said unto them, Go and show John again those things which ye do hear and see. All right, so more than likely, not more than likely, the men that John sent, they were elect men, all right, because they had the faith, they believed in Yahushua, and they hear and see, all right. So we already know that not everybody's gonna hear. Well, even some people will hear it, but they won't be able to understand, right? Let's go to that real quick. Mark 4:11. But these men were diligent, right? They went and sought out Yahushua on behalf of John. Okay. And this is Mark 4:11. And he said unto them, Unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of Yahweh, but unto them that are without all these things are done in parables, that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted and their sin should be forgiven in them. All right, so when we go back to Matthew 11 and 4, it says, Yahushua answered and said unto them, Go and show John these things which ye do hear and see. All right, because we just read that not everybody that hears it is going to perceive this, and not everybody that sees this is going to, not everybody that sees this is going to perceive it, and not everybody that hears it is going to understand it. But these men were diligent. They went and, sought after Yahushua on behalf of John the Baptist. All right. So verse 5, the blind receive their sight, and the lame walk, and the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, and the dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. So the poor is dealing with the elect, because you're not going to receive this truth if you're not an elect. All right? You're going to scoff, you're going to mock, you're not going to believe. Whatever the case may be, remember, faith is a gift given by Yahweh, and He doesn't give it to everybody. All right, unlike people, the Christians teach. They want you to think that you just go to their church and all of a sudden you can be baptized and you can have faith. Well, no, faith is only given to a few, and we see that day in and day out, because when we deliver this truth on the streets, so many people reject the truth, the true knowledge. All right. Like it says in Romans, let's go to it, 10:2, they may have a zeal, but they not according to knowledge, right? Romans 10:2, for I bear them record that they have a zeal of Yahweh, but not according to knowledge. So if you could have all the zeal in the world. Like I know a woman, she's on social media and she'll post all these different verses that she don't understand. And she's always coming in the name of Jesus Christ, like most of these Christians, And yet she has a great zeal for the truth, but not according to knowledge. All right. So the poor in verse 11 and 5 in Matthew is dealing with the men who actually receive the truth. All right. And then it says, that Yahushua was given the blind sight and the lame they were able to walk. Yeah, he had stronger powers than we do, spiritual powers, and to the point where he was actually, helping the lame walk. The lepers were cleansed, but it's also spiritual. The lepers cleansed from their uncleanliness because they received the truth. The deaf were able to hear the truth, and understand it. The dead were raised up. Who's the dead? The dead are those dry bones, right? In Ezekiel. So, but that's what it is, it's spiritual, all right? All right, so now we're on verse 6. And blessed is, and I'm sorry, you know what? Let's go into some precepts that are actually important precepts pertaining to what I'm saying here. Isaiah 35 and all right, so we're going to go to Isaiah 35 and start at 4. And it says, hold on. Say to them that are of a fearful mind, be strong, fear not. Behold, your power will come with vengeance. Even Yahweh with a recompense. He will come and save you. All right, so that shows you that who this is dealing with. The poor that receive this truth are the elect, and the 1/3 who believes the truth that they preach. All right, because we know that everybody's not going to be saved. Okay. Verse 5, the eyes of the blind shall be open, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Then shall the lame man leap as an hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. All right, so this is showing you that, hey, that's when those people will actually be healed, because they're going to get those new bodies. All right, and they believe the truth. And it's going to be that 1/3 of Israel. These men who sought after Yahushua on the behalf of John the Baptist were at the very least the part of the 1/3. All right. If you don't know what I mean when I say 1/3, I'm talking about the 1/3 of Israel that are going to be saved in the day of wrath. All right. Because if we precept that over in Zechariah, let's go to it. 13:8, and here's the 1/3. All right, it says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 1/3 shall be left therein. All right, so that's at 1/3, because the 2 parts of Israel are wicked, and you guys aren't going to come out of Christianity. You're never going to come out of praying to Jesus Christ. You're never going to come out of Catholicism, whatever other madness you're dealing with, whatever other religion or false wine or doctrine that you're in. So you're going to be part of that 2/3 that gets cut off and die, but you're going to get the kingdom, but you're going to be killed by the missiles, all right? You're going to be a living sacrifice of Yahweh, all right, on the day of wrath. All right, more precept. I'm going to go back to Matthew 5:3 says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for there is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. All right, so who's mourning right now? It's the men who understand this truth. We're mourning. We're crying aloud in the streets, right? That's a sign of mourning, because why are we mourning? Because we are tired of this wicked society. We see the truth for what it is. And we're not happy here. This is not our resting place, all right? Showing you who this truth is dealing with, and showing you who Yahushua came for, all right? He didn't come for everybody. And you got Christians boldly saying that they are saved, and that's an arrogant spirit to say that you're saved. Even these men who are in the truth, pushing this truth, on the streets with sincerity, even we don't say we're saved. We call ourselves the hopeful elect, because we know what the scriptures say. We're not sitting here talking out of our ass like these Christians saying, oh, I've been saved since 2011. No. That ain't how it works. Not even the elders say they're saved, How the hell you Christians who don't even understand the Bible are going to claim you're saved? Don't even make sense. All right, we're going to go to Luke 4, verse 18. The Spirit of Yahweh is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of the sight to the blind, to set a liberty in them that are bruised. All right, so, hey, remember, if you're getting bruised in this society and chastised over the testimony of Yahweh, then hey, that's over Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, that's a beautiful thing, man, to be bruised. And you're supposed to rejoice when you get scoffed and mocked, all right? Or when people hate you on behalf of this truth. That's a beautiful thing, man. You ain't supposed to be, and it's not supposed to discourage you and make you fall out of the truth. No, it's the opposite. When you're bruised, you're going to have liberty in the kingdom. All right. And the Spirit, this is Yahweh Shai talking in the red letter. He said, the Spirit of the Lord is upon him. Well, hey, that's how you have to be like Yahweh Shai. You have to have that Spirit of the Lord upon you. And when you are mocked and chastised and scoffed and hated and people are offended at what you say, then you're doing something right. Okay? This truth is not for pansies, all right? It's not for soft words, preachers that walk around teaching soft words that don't offend nobody. No, it's the opposite, all right? Go back to Matthew 11, we're on verse 7. We're on verse 6. And blessed is he whoever shall not be offended in me. All right, so if you're not offended in this truth, then you're blessed. You're not going to be, you're not going to be offended at this truth. I remember the first day I sat at the camp, and I was surprised to hear it, but the brother, he gave me, a pat on the back, I guess you could say, for lack of better terms, but when he said it, to me, it was like, okay, it wasn't even an option. But he tells me after the first day I went to camp, he goes, well, you didn't get offended. You know what I mean? Because I sat through the whole camp, and I wasn't on the camera because I didn't, I had to earn my stripes, if you will, at least to be part of the, on camera and whatnot. But one of the comments he said is, hey, well, at least you stayed for the whole camp and you weren't offended. He said because there's been men who would come to the camp and, they would walk away offended in the middle of camp, So that always stuck with me. But at the same time, it was never an option, Because why? Because I went with a humble spirit. That's what my spirit was like, and that's a characteristic of an elect. You're going to come with a humble spirit and listen. You're not going to sit there and run off at your own vain opinions. No, you got 2 ears to listen and one mouth to speak, and the good Lord gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth because you should listen more than you speak, especially when it comes to this truth. All right. Let's go to Isaiah. Chapter 8, verse 14. And it says, and he shall be for a sanctuary, but for a stone of stumbling and for a rock of offense to both the houses of Israel, for a gin and for a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many among them shall be stubble and fall and be broken and be snared and be taken. Bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples. All right, so going back to 14 and breaking that down, Yahweh Shai is going to be a stumbling block even for the houses of Israel, because you got 2/3 that we just read about in Zechariah that are going to reject this knowledge and this truth. All right, verse 15, many shall be stubble, fall, and be broken, snared, and be taken. All right, that's that 2/3. You're going to fall. Even if you come into this truth and you're not sincere, you're going to fall. and you don't do the work, you don't be diligent, hey, you're going to be broken and be snared. It's going to be a trap for you. Because if you're one of those people that says, hey, I'm going to go in the truth, and then you fall out, hey, it better that you didn't know the truth than to come in and fall out, That's why we don't sit there and try to, bring people into the truth. It's all the will of Yahweh. We're not going to call you and say, hey, man, you should really think about coming to camp with us, Hey, come preach the word with us. No. It's something that Yahweh is a spirit he'll put on you if you're meant for this truth. We're not going to sit here and invite you. We may say you can come to a camp and watch, but we're not going to say, hey, come be part of GMS. No, that's not how it works. And at this time, you can, the only thing you can do is come to the camp and be diligent and learn every week, because under the apostles, elders' orders, there's no new membership is closed, just like when Noah sealed the ark and no one was able to enter the ark when the flood came. Well, hey, under our elders, who are the men who are, making giving us our orders, as in do 3 videos a week, no more members in GMS. Well, hey, it's all spiritual. Physically, we can't say, hey, come on and be part of GMS, but, a diligent spirit will still come to camp. We have a brother in our camp right now who, because the elders had sent out the order or commandment, or whatever you want to call it. Well, hey, there's no new members. But guess what? Through the Spirit, this brother has been diligent, coming to the camp, holding the camera, watching the videos, doing his own videos, pulling out precepts. The brother is humble himself, and is he part of the camp? Yes. Is he on the camera? No. It's because the elders had made that decision a couple months back. Because things were getting tightened up. They were tightening up the ship, if you will. But hey, the brother has a diligent spirit. It doesn't mean that he's not going to be part of the elect, or not a chosen, a chosen spirit. But hey, he's diligent. He's humbled. He comes to the camp every week. Talking about the brother Anah. So, we'll jump to verse 14 and 15 in Isaiah 8 are talking about those 2/3 that are going to get offended by the truth. They're going to stumble, they're going to fall, be broken, they're going to be trapped, snared. All right. Verse 16 dealing with the elect. Bind up the testimony, in verse 16. Bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples. All right. So that's what it is, It's a commandment. Yahweh has said, hey, bind up the testimony and seal the law among my disciples, Yahweh Shai, That's what we're doing. We're sealing the